Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing another Media of the Moment video. Media of the Moment, if you didn't know, is a series that I started on my channel last year in which I just sit down and talk to y'all about the media I am currently consuming, whether that be books, movies, TV show, whatever I'm reading, watching, listening to. That's what I talk about in this series. And I'm trying to be a little bit better at actually doing these this year, and I think the last one I did was in January, so I am definitely due for another one. Starting out with books, as I always do, you may have noticed that I have reorganized my bookshelves. Until last week, I had my shelves organized so that two of my shelves were books that I'd read, and this shelf right here was books that I hadn't read. And basically, this shelf began to get a little bit crowded, and these two shelves were pretty disorganized, so I just decided to integrate everything back in together and to totally change up my organization. And because of this, I'm currently in the process of doing a bookshelf tour to show y'all this new organization because it looks pretty cool if I do say so myself. But apart from that, I still haven't been doing a ton of reading. I have read one thing since the last time that I did one of these videos, and that is Giant Days Volume 1. This is a comic series about three friends who are in college together, and so far it's kind of a snarky, funny, feminist comic that I'm really enjoying. I do have volumes 2 and 3 checked out from the library right now, so I'm hoping to continue this soon. Apart from Giant Days though, I did pick up a book over spring break that I kind of want to get to really soon because I'm in the mood for it, and that is Battle Royale. And I'm realizing right now that I really need to do a book haul because both the books that I have shown you are things that I've gotten since the beginning of 2017, and I have not done a book haul yet in 2017. So now moving on to stuff that I have been watching, which is a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna start out with a thing that I ranted and raved about in the last video and made an entire video about, and that is The Genius. Yes, I'm still watching it. This is a rewatch for me. If you don't know what The Genius is, which is probably most of you, I will leave a link up in the cards to a video I did explaining what it is and why everyone should watch it. But basically, it is a Korean reality competition that has all these really cool strategic games. I've gotten obsessed with it. My rewatch has been a little bit slow lately, but I have made it through about half of season 3, and it's partially been slow because while I visited Sarah in February and while I was home with my parents over spring break, I kind of forced them all to watch season 1 with me. Sarah really enjoyed it. She thought it was really cool. We watched almost the entirety of season 1 in one day. My mom was willing to put up with it and she eventually came to like it, but she won't watch it without me. My dad, not so much. He's not a fan. That being said, I've rewatched season 1 like 3 times since the last time I talked about it, and I'm currently in the middle of my first rewatch of season 3. So yeah, slow progress on the rewatch, but that's mostly because I've been forcing everyone to watch season 1 over and over and over again. So enough of that. I've already talked The Genius into the ground on my channel enough. That being said, there is another really cool Korean reality show that I do want to briefly mention because I have also fallen in love with it, but not quite as much as with The Genius. So that TV show is called Crime Scene. The way that Crime Scene works is that there is a permanent cast for an entire season, and each episode kind of plays out like one of those like dinner murder mystery type things where everyone has a different persona and one of them is secretly the killer and they're all trying to collect evidence and figure out who done it, which given that y'all know how much I love And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, this TV show is right up my alley. And not only that, but since the cast of the show is made up of celebrities, there's actually some overlap between Crime Scene and The Genius. So one of the people that I absolutely fell in love with on The Genius is on both of the seasons of Crime Scene that have aired so far, and another of the people that I fell in love with on one of the seasons of The Genius is on the second season of Crime Scene. So it was really fun to get to watch them in a totally different setting. But yeah, it's just a super fun show where everyone takes on a different character every week and they have to solve a murder mystery. It's just lots and lots of fun, and I have watched all of season 2 because both of those people from The Genius are on it, and I'm halfway through season 1 because it's not quite as fun without one of the two people from The Genius. That being said, Sungyu, who is in the boy band Infinite and is also a cast member on the first season of The Genius, makes a guest appearance in season 1 of Crime Scene, and I'm about to get to his episode, so I'm really excited about that. So apart from watching those two shows, I have also been rewatching some of my old favorite TV shows, and YouTube series. I've mentioned the show a few times in the past, but in the early 2000s there was this reality competition show called The Mole, and it is one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and I've been rewatching it lately. The premise of the show is that there's a group of contestants who are working together in different games and challenges to win money for the group pot that eventually one of them will win. But one of the contestants is secretly the mole, who is working with production against everyone else to keep them from winning money. And the main objective of the actual players is to figure out who among them is the mole, and every episode they have a quiz that they have to take on the mole's identity, and someone is executed at the end of every episode. Once again, it's one of those things with like a secret betrayer or hidden killer type thing, which is my favorite thing ever. So this show is absolutely amazing, and to top it all off, the first 2 seasons are hosted by one and only Anderson Cooper, who is an absolute delight on the show. Behold, Anderson Cooper. This is my DVD of season 1, which I watched a little bit of over the weekend and at the beginning of the week. But then midweek I jumped into the Celebrity Mole Hawaii, which is the 3rd season of the show and the first season of the show that was made up of a cast of celebrities. The whole list is here, but there's like Stephen Baldwin, Kathy Griffin is one of the contestants, and my personal favorite is Erik Von Detten, who many of you might know from Dinotopia and as Josh from The Princess Diaries. He is the absolute best thing about this season for me because he may play a total jerk in The Princess Diaries, but in real life he's this really shy, quiet math nerd. And I love that about him. Like, he's legitimately super smart. That being said, he is kind of the only bright spot in the 2 celebrity seasons of The Mole because the celebrities are usually not very good at the mole, but he is the best thing about the Celebrity Mole. The only reason I ever rewatch these seasons is because he is on this season 3. So yeah, if the show sounds interesting, start with season 1. Do not start with the celebrity seasons. In fact, watch season 1, season 2, and then season 5, and then go back and pick up the celebrity seasons because they're definitely not the best seasons of the show, but Erik Von Detten is great. So then the other series that I've been watching over the past couple weeks is actually going to feed into what I'm currently playing. Lately, I have been rewatching the GT Live live streams of Life is Strange, which I happen to have on PlayStation 4 and have started to play over the last couple days. Currently, I've only finished episode 1, but I have seen the entire playthrough of the game, so I do know what happens. If you're unfamiliar with this game, essentially it is one of those kind of like butterfly effect type games where it's very story driven and you have to make choices that affect the outcome of the game. This is the full version of the game. When it was first released, it was actually released episode by episode throughout 2015, but this has all 5 episodes on it. Right now I'm almost done with my rewatch of the GT Live playthrough of Life is Strange. I think right now I am about to start episode 5. But I also did just start rewatching Jacksepticeye's playthrough of Life is Strange, which is like a 10-hour plus playthrough, so that's gonna take me a little while to get through as well. But yeah, I absolutely love those type of games where it's like choice-based and it has butterfly effect. Like Until Dawn is a game that I absolutely love, but Life is Strange is what I've been currently in the mood to watch, and I've been just watching it like all the time. But in addition to all those things I've been watching, one of my favorite TV shows just premiered its 9th season on Friday, and I'm so excited about it. And that is, of course, RuPaul's Drag Race. I absolutely love RuPaul's Drag Race. I have seen every single episode of every single season. It is one of my like top 5 favorite TV shows of all time. I just absolutely love it, and I was so excited for the season 9 premiere, and I'm still so excited about this season. That being said, I was a little bit let down by the first episode, mostly because I felt like it focused a lot on Lady Gaga, which is great because Lady Gaga is great, but I feel like I didn't get to know the queens any better than I did pre-season. So as of right now, I still have the same favorites that I had pre-season, and no one has really completely shocked me. So far, my favorite queen is Sasha Velour. She was the one who impressed me most in the pre-season stuff, and she also impressed me the most in the first episode. I tend to gravitate toward some of the weird, quirky queens, and she is definitely one of the like better ones of those archetype, and I think that she's really interesting in a good way, unlike some other people on this season, James Mansfield. I'm also cautiously optimistic about Aja. I want to like her, but I do feel like her drag is being described by a lot of people as very basic, which I can definitely see, but I do like her aesthetic and she does seem to be fun, so I'm hoping that she does well, and I'm hoping that she gets her makeup together a little bit because everyone seems to be clocking her makeup. I also think that Pheromone is absolutely adorable, but I do think that the judges are gonna get tired of her very quickly, and she's gonna be one of the first ones that is issued a challenge by Michelle, which is not always a good thing. I also think that Kimora Black is absolutely adorable out of drag, but in drag she's kind of boring. Shea Coulee was like the pre-season favorite of like every human on the planet, and while I think she did well in the first episode, she didn't overly impress me, but I'm not critical of that too much because last season's winner was kind of meh in the first episode too, so she definitely probably has more up her sleeve. I also really liked Nina Bonina Brown. She is such an interesting queen and she has such an interesting aesthetic, and I'm really excited to see what she does going forward. And then of course there's the fact that there's going to be a 14th queen entering the competition, and it's going to be a returning queen, and I'm not super excited about that. Reddit has kind of leaked who it probably is, and while I definitely like that queen, I'm not overly excited to have them back because I feel like they got their chance and they showed what they had to show, and we're not gonna get much else from them. And if you don't know who this returning queen is and you wanna know, go to Reddit, scroll through it, it'll become apparent very quickly. Just very quickly to touch on the music that I've been listening to, I have had Black and White by Todrick Hall featuring Superfruit on repeat for the past week. It is such a jam, and I love all of them. They're so great. Todrick is so talented, Superfruit are so talented, Kirsty is in the video, but I don't think that she's actually in the song, but either way, she's super talented. I love all of them, and the song is amazing. I've had it on repeat, seriously, all week. I'm almost sick of it already, but it's still so good that I can't stop. So All Time Low, who is my favorite band, if you weren't aware, recently released the next single off of their upcoming album. The song and the album are both called Last Young Renegade, and it's a definite improvement over the last single that they released, so I'm super excited for this album. It comes out in June. I love Last Young Renegade, the song, very much, so yeah, I'm really excited about all of the upcoming stuff with them, with their music. So yeah, that is about it for this Media of the Moment video. That's all I can think of that I've been reading, watching, and listening to lately, so I hope to do another one of these in the near future, hopefully at least every month this year. I know I missed February, but oh well. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you on Goodreads. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.